so much red. It tastes different than I thought. I wonder what the color blue smells like.
Just you and me against the world now. Not that I'm complaining.
Oh, dear gods, I'm hallucinating. And just who in oblivion might you be? Another traveler on a life-changing pilgrimage of worship? Because so help me, with the mood I'm in right now, it will be life-changing. Good. I prefer to avoid spilling any more blood than is absolutely necessary. Including mine. What a clumsy way of putting it. It was clearly self-defense. A contingent of Thalmor, led by none other than yours truly, set out on an inquisition to weed out Talos worship in Falkreath. When first we laid eyes on these backwoods savages, I thought it was only decent to question their purpose for being here. Agent Sanyon had a speech prepared and everything. He was only halfway through it when one of them struck him from behind and wrecked the whole thing. Oh, gods, no! I have a 3 strikes policy. One spell usually does the trick to paralyze the victim. Convert. Agent Sanyon fell, and I resumed, in rather eloquent diction, the speech he failed to finish. One of those bastards mocked my dagger. It's been in the family for generations. So I put it to good use and carved out his heart and showed it to the lot of them before eventually killing them all. Like I said, clearly self-defense. And you have a strange definition of decent attire. What, with a drab outfit like that, you must have pieced it together by looting the bodies you've slain. No decency. No decency at all. And you have the gall to call me a monster. Bah! Gods. Yes. It's just a flesh wound. I live. These heretics put up a good fight, I'll give them that. The priest cut me pretty deep. Once the shock wears off, I'll be able to heal myself. Listen here, you little worm. I survived the Great War. I can survive a simple knife wound. I hope.
Looks like rain.
Wait. Skeever. Shoo.
Hope you're ready to lose. Stay close to me. I'm always up for a party. You have my back. All right, let's do this. Let's take them on.
Help me. For God's sake, why? Persistent, aren't you? You do realize you'll be aiding a member of the Thalmor, right? No doubt the people of Skyrim would prefer to see us all dead. That is the most naive thing I have heard since Sindarian ventured off into Blackreach and said, "Oh, shopkeep, 2 dozen of your finest nirnroot, please." Spoiler alert, he was killed. Gruesomely. The moment I'm healed, what makes you so certain you won't suffer the same fate? Oh, now that's the spirit. I had a feeling you were a feisty one. I like that. I will cooperate for now. Whoa. Whoa. Ah, that's much better. Well, I... Thank you. So, as it turns out, I really haven't got much in terms of a reward right now, but I can offer you the pleasure of my company. I think you'll find that having a member of the Thalmor in your pocket could be quite beneficial. And if your first thoughts are, this dashing Mer is going to betray me at the first opportunity, then you're sharper than you look. I know why I was sent to accompany Sanyan. I was expected to die here. And then you came along and changed that. So, in words you so eloquently spoke but a moment ago, why not? Any number of reasons, really. Could be my brash attitude, my candid inability to hold my tongue, or my insatiable lust for life and, well, people. There is no court-martial where I came from, no honorable discharge. One does not simply leave the Thalmor, except in a box. Elenwyn expects those of us sent to Skyrim to shine in her own image, to make her look good. Apparently, I didn't make the cut. If I return to the Thalmor, she'll likely send me on another suicide mission until I'm dead. So, why not humor her? She gets the last laugh, and you get a handsome new companion at your side. Steve. Or was it Martin? No, it was Jigalag. Yes, that's it. Jigalag. Really, though, let's just stick with the alias, shall we? Maybe someday I'll tell you. But not now. I'm insulted. I am always on my best behavior. Depending on your point of view, that is. Now then, shall we away? Well, when you put it that way, how can I refuse? Ha! I knew it! There was, well, it's hard to describe, really. A shift, I suppose. As if something was removed from this realm. Truth be told, I was worried we had lost you. I've never been happier to be wrong. Well, I'll leave that up to you. There's still so much more we can do here for the people of Skyrim. If you're all right with me remaining at your side. As long as it's not on the back of a dragon, I'll follow you to the ends of Tamriel. If you'll have me. My loyalties are to you and only you. But enough sentimentality, there's still a lot more for us to do out there. You lead, I'll follow.
Gotcha.
Something on your mind? Shall I pour us a cup of high tea, then? Curious about me, are you? I suppose I could share a bit of myself with you. What did you want to know? I was born in the capital of the Somerset Isles, Alinor. No doubt you've heard about the homeland of the Altmer. Buildings made of gloss, towers that challenge the sky above, designs that capture the colors and warmth of the sun. The home of the Altmeri people, the heart of the Dominion. My home. It was a bit of a shock to me when I first stepped onto Nord's soil. Whereas Alinor is warm and lush, this land is cold. Truth be told, I'm still trying to grasp this concept of snow. I've been stationed in Skyrim for about 3 years now. It is a difficult question. Somerset was beautiful, but the sun's rays were not enough to warm the cold and calloused souls of the people who basked in it. Everywhere you turn, there is an air of indifference to the beauty that surrounds the Altmer. who don't seem to recognize their own privilege to hold dominion over such a fertile paradise. This was no truer than in my own family. Despite my best efforts to please him, I often disappointed my father. On more than one occasion, he told me he would have preferred a daughter over the man I became, what with my apparent lack of strength or work ethic. After a while, I even began to resent my own body. Every day. And yet, I still miss the scenery. The lush landscapes, the sun, and the ocean never got old for me. In stark contrast, the bleak atmosphere here is a far cry from my homeland. But with it comes a sense of kinship. It's strange. This is truly a brutal and savage land. But in traces, I find more comfort and connection amongst the people here than I ever did in Somerset. Still, it is unfortunate that I can't return home for some of my belongings or my cats. But at least I have Burwale. And you? After escaping a home filled with gaudy treasures but no love to speak of, I'm quite content with the simplicity of life on the road. Even if the snow means I do have to snuggle close to someone I would otherwise never have thought to. But now you have me curious. What about you? Where are you from? I'm curious how you ended up here in Skyrim. But I'm sure that's a story for another time, yes? I won't push you to open up to me. But maybe someday, when you're more comfortable, we can revisit this conversation. Well, this has been fun, making myself emotionally vulnerable and now homesick. We should focus on something else for a while, wouldn't you agree? Shall I pour us a cup of high tea, then? That's a good question. For now, I need to keep a low profile. But eventually I'll have to move on. Since I can't necessarily return home, I could always travel. I've been wanting to visit Raven Rock, or even see those churning sands of elsewhere. Possibilities are endless, really. Indeed. But for now, I'll help you out here in Skyrim. After that, we'll revisit the idea. Of course you do. You're the inquisitive type. What's on... Burwale the Avenger. My trusty ceremonial dagger. We have quite the history, you see. Hard to believe it, but when I was a child, I was nothing at all like the strapping young soldier you see before you. No. On the contrary. I was an awkward schoolboy who daydreamt and read books. I had quite the sweet tooth, and I never exercised much. Never really had any friends, either. My father insisted that I enlist with the Thalmor, and of course I wanted nothing to do with it. Oh, I'm sorry. Who's telling the story? You or me? Anyway, one day he brought me into his study to help him open a dresser that was giving him a bit of trouble. After I opened it on the first try, I laughed at him. He then sat me down. To scold me and beat me, I thought, as was his custom. But then, as his mouth opened, out flowed the most beautiful, elaborate story my young mind had ever heard. I was the chosen one, destined to slay a great enemy of the people. A great dragon threatened the safety and the purity of our good land. He showed me this dagger, Burwale the Avenger, he called it, and bade me to take it, that I would use it to slay the great beast once and for all. But to train with it, I would need to enlist in the ranks of the Thalmor, who would show me how to properly wield it. No, actually. As it turns out, the great dragon was the evil of Talos worship, and my father was just a bigot. Hooray for metaphors. It was all a lie. An elaborate ruse to get his lazy sod of a son out of the house and earning his living. The dagger was worthless. Don't be. I'm not. It helped me develop the courage I needed to get out on my own. I suppose you could call that a big win for parenting, eh? Take note, if you ever have children of your own, with just the right balance of carrots, sticks, and fantasies, you can make a soldier out of a sap. Anyway, the joke's on him, really. I've since learned the art of blacksmithing and enchanting, so now, Burwale the Avenger is a weapon worthy of his impressive title. You watch your tongue, miscreant, or Burwale will avenge my honor deep in your backside. You're lucky you're a pretty one. I'm inclined to let that comment slide. That and you did save my life. But enough standing idly by. The hour grows late. Shall we away? Looking for me? I'll answer them as best I can. Again? You know how to make a mer blush. Family? What family? What are you talking about? I spawned from oblivion just like any member of the Thalmor. Oh yes, that. He was Mehrunes Dagon. Yes, I'm the spawn of Mehrunes Dagon. All right. I am my parents' firstborn son. They were both very talented mer in their own right, and as their firstborn, they had high expectations for me. After I said my first word, that very same day, my mother hired my first tutor. Eloquence and diction were very important to her, you see. I think she wanted me to become a bard, or a troubadour. Of course, I was later blessed, if you want to call it that, by two younger sisters down the line. And our parents shifted their expectations onto them instead. A blessing in disguise, really. But then my father pulled the ruse with Burwale and, well, you know the rest. Thankfully, neither of my sisters got involved with the Thalmor. I suppose we were close, when they weren't trying to make my life a complete nightmare. I wasn't as patient back then as I am now, and they enjoyed finding ways to get me to snap. Hiding notes on enchantments, putting soul gem shards in my boots, setting my hair on fire. They might have been thorns in my side, but they were my thorns. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, right? Any siblings of your own? Ah, then you know the struggle. Though, I shouldn't be too hard on them. After all, they did teach me a thing or two about self-defense, and how to handle male authority figures with strength and grace. Really, they are why I made it through the Thalmor to begin with. Want to know why there are so few? They prefer it elsewhere. I beg your pardon. Look, friend, and I use that term loosely. I am a pure-blooded. Not a single drop of Dremora blood flows through these thick, bulging veins. One cannot or an aging butler named Haskill, who still owes me some coin from many moons ago when I wined and dined him on a I'll have to kill you now. Nothing at all. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Really? Fine. Give me a moment. What were those calculations again? No, that's not right. Here. It's dangerous to go. Actually, my mother taught me this spell. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But in theory, it might reach as far as Solstheim. Or even elsewhere. Shut up, I'm funny. Simple. Picture me in your mind. Your desire to have me at your side, Demand I be there, and then I'll be broken down into a million particles and then pieced back together. Oh, it is. Very. That's why when Mother called me in for supper, trust me, it wasn't up for debate. So, let's hope you don't need it too often. Yes? Please? You wish to talk? I'm all point. Necromancy is a delicate subject on Somerset. Only nobility and scholars are permitted to study the art, and even then, most of the research is dedicated to extending the lifespan of the altar. Say what you want about the Thalmor, but we do look fierce in our uniforms. Fear not, my little Breton. Should an item on the top shelf of your life be just out of reach, I'll be here to help you. This reminds me of some sage advice my father gave me. Never trust a mage with no eyebrows. To this day, I've still no idea what he meant by that. Maybe he was drunk. Not relevant to our situation, I know, but I felt the need to share it with you. Don't take this the wrong way, but you strike me as the sort of person who needs constant feedback. I'll be sure to repeat myself as often as possible to help you out.